What's up, guys? We're on to a new video. And well, actually today is a video of problems I have weighing 130 kilos, okay? Which in fact are going to be more in the next few weeks. I've got 6 weeks left if I'm not wrong. I'll tell you why and I'll explain all that. Actually, this is coming up from the video of problems of weighing 120 kilos. So this is an updated video which you really enjoyed. And this is for those of you who are subscribed and those who are not. Because actually it has 1 million views. In fact, it is my first video with 1 million views. And well, it is a simply funny but realistic video. I mean, I really put what happens to me. And well, since you put me a lot in the comments with a lot of hate and with a lot of everything, things that happen to me, I'll really tell you what happens to me. That is more realistic if I tell you myself, because the perception that you can have from the outside is not the one from the inside. And there are many things that you don't know. And well, it really has problems. It's very uncomfortable. I tell you right now, it's very, very uncomfortable to live with 130 kilos. Without a doubt, it's what I like the least in bodybuilding, and it's obviously the most difficult part of being a heavyweight. That's the fucking reality. It's the most difficult part. We have made a list, okay? We are going to leave you resources, which is great because all this is kind of justifiable so we can show it to you. First of all, it's hard for me to breathe. It's not really hard for me to breathe. But, I mean, I don't find it hard to breathe. I don't get to the point where it's hard to breathe. What happens is that I breathe very, very heavy. It's very noticeable very quickly. And obviously I don't have the lung capacity I had before, but it's not really that I can't speak. It's nothing like that. Speaking and vocalizing, I have had the problem since I was little, okay? And here on YouTube, I vocalize much more than in person since I was little. My sister, for example, has tormented me to vocalize. My homie Chichi, for example, already understands me, okay? But I do not vocalize either, and he knows it perfectly well. What happens is that he gets the idea of what I say. And well, that is one of the things. In fact, I have to write it down right here later on. But I am going to tell you something that happens to me that is very, very important. And I also want to put it as it is. It's, guys, my voice changes between definition and volume. My voice changes, but 2 months go by. Of course, I'm not feeling well. But after 2 months, of course, 2 months, if I gain 20 kilos, it is quite different. It changes my voice a lot. And I mean, once I have it very deep, I start to have it more acute. Then deeper again, I suppose that it is something it has to do with the trachea and everything else and the muscle of the neck that surrounds it and squeezes it. I guess it is because of that. Also, something that has happened to me too, okay? I obviously had a size before and now I have a bigger size, okay? It's like this, okay? Well, something that happens to me with respect to this that affects me a lot is that I get overwhelmed in small places. It didn't happen before. And now, for example, in elevators, I don't feel very comfortable. I don't get usually on the back seat of cars because I really feel uncomfortable. I feel like I'm imprisoned in airplanes. I have a very, very bad time. Very, very bad. I feel very enclosed, which obviously can happen to everybody because in an airplane, you are enclosed. But I am enclosed even with the seat in front, with the side seats. And I feel very rough and very uncomfortable in this kind of places. And it is something that happens to me. And I feel quite uncomfortable because it generates discomfort. I mean, mental discomfort, so you understand me. Another thing is that I waste a big part of the day eating. This usually happens in volume, not in my definition. Then it is quite the opposite. In definition, I devour, but in volume, the fact of making a meal maybe takes me an hour. Preparing the food and eating it takes me an hour. And I make, depending on the food, I mean the most prepared meals, but I make prepared meals at least 3-4 times a day. So that's a real waste of time. The time it takes, the time you lose, and then also the amount of food you have to buy now, for example. So you can have an idea and can relate it with this. We have 2 refrigerators. Those 2 doors that you see, there are 2 refrigerators, 1 for each one, because we really have space problems when I am in volume and we have a lot of food, and it has driven to the situation that we were looking for 2 refrigerators, and we had both here, and it was a very positive point about the house that we valued when we bought it. Another thing is the issue with my joints, okay? It also happens in my hands, but is not such a big thing here. I have a lot of retention, a lot of it. And especially in my feet. In my feet, it is a real problem. In fact, there are some slippers that I cannot wear. So, you know, in my normal size of slippers, because they are a slightly stiffer fabric. And it is very difficult for me to wear them because of the retention I have in my ankle. My ankle is super big and you touch it and it's like it's hard for blood circulation and so on. But well, here it is what it is. And I assume it, I mean, if it were to be a worrying point, I would obviously cut it. But in this case, it's not worrying. But sometimes I see it when I put on a sock that is a little bit tighter and think, damn it, this is something to think about. Ooh, I have another thing that happens to me and it is in my arms. Especially, I have a lot of tingling in my hands, and I think it comes from the wrist. And when I sleep, my whole arm falls asleep many times, and nothing. I just take it out like this. I unhook it under the bed, and it goes away. But I think I have a lot of pressure in this area because of the muscles of the forearm. I have a lot of pressure, and I know that there is a kind of, if I'm not wrong, I know there's like a kind of a, I'm sorry for the physios, but like little tubes or something like that, nervous ending, and I'm sure that it presses me at the wrist level, and it's something that's really uncomfortable. Another funny thing is that we sleep in 2 beds. My girlfriend and I sleep in 2 beds together, but it's like, it's one mega big bed, but she actually has her bed, and I have my double bed. So it's like each one according to their size. And well, that's it. That's silly. This detail is really for comfort, because I am a person who does not like to be touched while I sleep, so it is really for comfort. And something related to this is that I snore a lot. It doesn't go when I'm in definition. It is not by weight as such, or by weight obviously, but it does not vary much in definition and in volume, although I gain and lose a lot of kilos. It's quite curious. Many bodybuilders, well, people tell me that I have sleep apnea and so on. I do not know if I have sleep apnea because I have not done the tests, basically. Then neither I nor any one of you know if I have sleep apnea until I do not do the tests, which I will not do, basically because I am not interested. I mean, I sleep super well, for real. I sleep incredible. That is also a positive thing. I mean, within the weight, I sleep very, very well. I mean, really well. And many bodybuilders, really, although you do not know it, it is not usually said, many sleep with an oxygen mask, bodybuilders, power lifters, very heavy people. And I really do not want to. I do not want to because I sleep well. I rest very well, really. So I do not sleep with a mask or anything, but I guess it would improve a little in that sense, the snoring issue. Really, the one who does not sleep is her, Marta. She does not sleep because I snore also hand to hand with this. I fall asleep everywhere. I mean, I sleep very well, but I fall asleep everywhere. I mean, obviously after eating about 50 grams of rice, the insulin that hits you, obviously it affects you and you fall asleep. I fall asleep many times in the barbershop. I fall asleep in the United States. I do not know why I really fall asleep. I have a very, very big problem. And I will always go, I have a much greater sleepiness than in Spain without changing absolutely nothing. It is a much greater sleepiness. And I don't know why. I mean, that is something that worries me. But from there, it has happened to me even when I was younger. In 2018, I remember that I was with Chichi, my best friend. It happened to me. Well, it happened to both of us. It is something even more worrying. We used to fall asleep easily. I don't even know why it is. Another thing that is a challenge, which I find very funny to say, is cutting your toenails and tying your shoelaces or putting on your slippers and socks is a challenge. I mean, really, it is a challenge. The belly touches you with the quadriceps and you start to choke. You don't get there. It's disgusting. That's a part that I don't like at all. It makes me very uncomfortable because it makes me uncomfortable to bend down and not be able to bend down really well. And it's something that happens to absolutely everyone who weighs a lot. One more thing is that you always see me in my brand. Sometimes you ask me, don't you buy more clothes? And it is real that I don't, because it is also very difficult for me. For example, I don't have jeans. It is very difficult for me to find clothes in my size. Very, very, very much. For example, Fred Perry, which is a brand that I used to like a lot. Now I still like it, but it doesn't have the XXL, so I can't buy it. Well, I think they do have large sizes in El Corte Inglés, but not really. I don't go through that anymore. I really have a hard time finding clothes. And for example, I don't have jeans because I can't find them, and it's a real problem. Another of the things that when I came to this house, I remembered, and it has happened to me more than once, obviously, but in this house, it has been exaggerated. I think you already know. It happens with some plastic chairs. I break chairs. Many times you sit down, as soon as you move a leg, you break it. As soon as it is not a good chair, you break it. And that is a real hole. For example, to go to my mother's house, I have a set of 4 chairs and destroying one of them. It's a shit. It is bullshit because she is a normal person and she doesn't understand that because you are huge, you destroy her chairs. And then also something that makes me laugh, we have thought sometime we could go to Portaventura. I mean, I can go to Portaventura, but I can't go on the rides, on most of the rides, and that's a shit because at the end of the day, it cuts your rhythm of life. Another thing, for example, random. Now, I really like the world of motorsport. And you say, some time ago with Chichi, for example, when we were younger, we had pit bikes, then we had enduro motorcycles. I can't do that now. I mean, I literally can't do that. Maybe on a truck, then it's like already going away the options. I really feel the chairs thing is really bullshit. I'm looking at one of them that has been in the new house for 2 days. Like, dude, we came home, someone borrowed us really good chairs. It's fucking cool. And I've already killed 2 of them, dude. It's a shit. So, people, this has been the video. A little bit different, really, because we also wanted to change a little bit the role that besides... There are quite a few videos coming next week. And, well, in general, because we are going to the United States, so there are quite a few videos coming. So I hope you liked it. Subscribe below. Like it. Comment whatever you want. And there is a MyProtein promo. A good 40% on the whole website. You have it in the first link of the description. I love you.